Do you know everything about Terraria? Maybe, or maybe not. Certainly there's a lot tucked away waiting to be discovered, and if you're still learning the ins and outs of the game, you may not want to have to reinvent the wheel. Want to hear some trivia, tips and tricks about the sprawling masterpiece that is Terraria? Well, continue watching. Also, if you're watching this and feel that I'm missing some worthy trivia, tricks, or other tips, be sure to post a comment below. A lot of people like to read the comments, so let's crowdsource some good ideas and help out the rest of the viewers. Now, with that being said, let's get started. With every new patch, there's more and more to craft. Having trouble scrolling through all of the options? I bet. Just look at all this stuff. Well, in case you've not used it, check out this helpful tool. Click it and the crafting menu becomes much easier to navigate. You're welcome. Why this isn't the default option in all versions of Terraria? Well, I have no idea, but hey, there's always a future patch, right? A rule of thumb when wandering a new world is this. The dungeon will always be on the opposite side of the world from the jungle. Why is this? Well, the jungle has the underground temple, so to keep your subterranean adventures from overlapping and to keep the world more balanced, they've just done it this way. Another bit of world gen trivia, the ice biome will always be on the same side as the dungeon. So, dungeon and ice biome on one side, jungle and underground temple on the other. Again, it might not have much practical application, but it can't hurt to know. You probably know that you can grow plants, but did you know that you can also farm Chlorophyte Ore? That's right, this important hard mode jungle ore can be grown, as it were, near your base. Particularly important for crafting items like chlorophyte bullets, this process is explained in greater detail in a separate video that I'll link to in the video description below. Long story short, go to the bottom half of the underground layer, or deeper, and plant a seed block of chlorophyte ore in some mud. It will over time spread in that mud and form more chlorophyte. So if you want to, plant several seeds apart from one another and just be patient. You'll get your precious chlorophyte before long. This is a weird one. The dialogue for female NPCs changes during a blood moon. Whether you find that funny or offensive, well, that's up to you, but if it's the latter, don't blame me. I'm only the messenger. I have to say that the nurse NPC seems particularly irritable during this event. Also, during the blood moon, the arms dealer will sell better bullets, which are normally only for sale in hard mode, so if you're having trouble beating the wall of flesh, maybe hit him up during a blood moon and have that extra edge. Some of the other NPCs do sell extra items during this event too, but those more powerful bullets are by far the most helpful if you need an edge against a boss. Want to start somewhere else when loading your world every time? Well, you can. Just build a bed and click on it to change your spawn point, but choose wisely. Obviously, you don't want to put your spawn point in somewhere dangerous or on the far reaches of the map, but it is very useful. For instance, here, if you have a floating base, you don't have to climb up to base every time you start the game. Traps are wired the same way as your own creations, so while this might not be too important by the time you get them, if you do equip a wire working tool, you're able to see the wiring for traps before you stumble into them. This is probably most useful in the underground temple of the jungle biome, which is absolutely loaded with traps. Just don't forget to fight the monsters too. If you pick a random world seed, you can still tell whether you're getting corruption or crimson by looking at the graphic on the progress bar. I hope you're not disappointed. The Clothier NPC is the same old man who guards the dungeon entrance, that's right. And note that the Clothier only appears after Skeletron is defeated and he is freed from his curse. The rare item Clothier Voodoo Doll allows you to attack the Clothier, and if you do that at night, it summons Skeletron, so there's no doubt it's the same person. You can tell that also by some of the dialogue he has. Creepy, right? The landscape of your Terraria world can be hostile, full of hills, pits, and water hazards. You don't necessarily have to fight on such unfavorable ground. and it's not cheating to build a boss arena. This might be a long flat surface, or it might be something a little more elaborate, such as this set of platforms. It's entirely up to you, but I do find it helpful for certain bosses, and as you can see, these platforms are made of wood, which is not difficult to acquire, even in the very early game. And if you're in a bit of a bind, don't be afraid to throw in some healing aura objects like campfires, heart lamps, that sort of thing, if you need that little bit of extra help. From time to time, you'll see golden critters. Don't kill them. Not that you should ever kill critters, but if you capture these special gold critters with a butterfly net, you can sell them for bonus gold, 10 gold to be precise. This is obviously very useful, particularly early in the game, but it's pretty good throughout the rest of the game too. And don't let that stop you from selling regular critters, of course. That silver adds up. Don't waste time while safekeeping your money. Many of you will have a bank of some sort to avoid losing coins if you die deep underground, but in case you weren't aware, you can quickly put your new coins into your piggy bank or other vault by using the quick stack button. The game will sort and consolidate all of your coins for you, so you don't have to waste time organizing your coins ever again. Some items you don't want to throw away, even if they don't seem overly useful at the time. Two of those that come to mind are the metal detector and the slime staff. The metal detector is a 50% drop from the nymph, which is a very rare underground enemy, and it's useful because of the crafting recipe for the game's best accessory, the cell phone. So if you're lucky enough to find one of these metal detectors, save it for later, and you'll, I assure you, use it in your crafting. In that same vein, if you do get a slime to drop the slime staff, be sure to save it. It's a very, very rare item. It's so rare that many people, myself included, have resorted to automated slime statue slime farming to find one. Why is it valuable? Well, it's part of the ocean grinder trick to generate huge amounts of platinum. If you're curious about the platinum farm I just mentioned, well, check the video description below. I did make a video on it, and it's a pretty interesting process. Those zombies attacking your front door sure are a pain, and during a blood moon they can actually break and enter. Terrible, right? What can you do? Well, how about the humble dirt block? Yes, the dirt block can keep your doors locked until it's time to go out. So, if you want to retreat underground, that's fine, but if you want to stay above ground, and you want to do work in your base, for instance, then just put a block down at each entrance, and now you have thoroughly bamboozled that Blood Moon AI. Well, at least the AI that can't teleport. Guys, please do me a favor and make sure that Smart Cursor is activated when you're placing walls and digging tunnels. By default, this is the control key on the PC version, and the difference between placing walls with and without the Smart Cursor is astonishing. Much faster and no wasted tiles. Very helpful early on, like on your first day when you're trying to get a base up and running before dark, but certainly useful at any point in the game as well. And similarly, it makes digging tunnels, both horizontal and vertical tunnels obviously, a relative breeze. Digging is of course a major pastime in the game of Terraria. You'll be digging constantly, and so I can't even begin to think about how much time you're going to lose if you don't take advantage of the Smart Cursor. It's there, and so use it. Put some effort into your world early on and you'll reap the benefits for the duration of your playthrough. Try to focus on building a tunnel straight down to the underworld to save time. It's not only a super fast way to the underworld, but it's a super fast way to all biomes in between. Similarly, make east and west travel to the ocean biomes, jungle, and Dungeon of Breeze with a sky highway. For more details, check out my videos on these infrastructure ideas and get building. So that's all, folks. Just some rudimentary tips and trivia. I hope you've heard something useful from all of this. If I'm missing something, as I said earlier, please be sure to leave a comment. As I said, it'll help the rest of us. We know more as a group than any one of us alone. So thanks for any input, and of course, thanks for watching.